coaches? We want to welcome you to another season of winter basketball. Last year went really good. The boys' season and the girls' season went really good. We really appreciate all you guys playing in those. And for those that are coming back for our winter basketball, this is 3rd through 6th grade only, both boys and girls. So all our games will be played in the middle school gyms, and practices will still be in the elementary gym. So thank you again for signing up and volunteering. Like I always say on all these videos, we can't do it without you, so appreciate you. The season is going to begin on February 24th and run to March 25th. When you get your schedules out, you'll see a weekend where we can't play because spring break. So just make note of that when you get your schedules of the time we're going to be off. We will be playing on the Friday before spring break, but not the Saturday. So make note of that. We did get approved to play that Friday at AISD before spring break happens. Payment due on February 15th. If that date doesn't work for you, just work with us and make sure we just get those payment ins for the shirt pickup and all that. But that is the official due date. Roster maximum, we try to have you at least 10 players. If you go over that, we'll call you and ask you, and some coaches will call us and say they will take more than 10 because they have kids they want on their team. So we will allow that, but we'll talk to you first. But that's the maximum that we'd like to have. Equipment due right after the season by March 31st. Let's turn those basketballs in. We're going to give you a couple of basketballs. 28.5 basketballs is the size. And make sure we get those in so we can continue to sustain that practice of giving you guys some balls and stuff before each season. It gets pretty costly if we don't have those returning. We continue to have to buy them. When you get your roster, let's make sure that we're calling those kids. We had some issues this year where a parent didn't get contacted and the season was starting. They were actually on a roster. For some reason they didn't connect. Let us help you do that if you can't connect with the parent, but do your best. The first communication should be to call personally. I wouldn't text everybody because they might have changed their phone number. It could have been they're not receiving the text, they didn't get the text. Let's make sure we're talking to everyone and you're checking it off on your roster that, hey, I've talked to this parent. We're good. They know all the information, so we're going from there. So 3rd through 6th grade, girls and boys. The game's going to consist of 2 16-minute halves with the running clock. There was some confusion on that this year. The only time the clock will stop is an official's timeout. If they blow the whistle, say stop the clock, tie and shoot, an injury, or something they need the clock stopped for. Or free throws. If you look on the second page of your rules when you look them up, and it'll be on the first page moving forward, we will stop the clock on free throws. But other than that, the clock's running. The clock's running the whole half. All players must play a minimum of 16 minutes. That's at least half the game. Now, I know if you have 11 or 12 players, you're going to have to work that a little bit. You might have somebody play 14, 13, but do your best because we appreciate you taking more than 10. But please let all the players get some pretty close playing time. We don't want one kid playing 27 minutes and another kid playing 5 minutes. We just want to make it fair. This is Kids Inc. Recreational basketball. Let's make sure all the kids are getting enough playing time. Halftime will be 2 minutes, and each team will be allowed 30-second timeouts. They will be allowed 2 per game, 1 per half or 2 per game. They don't carry over, so you can either use it both in the second half or 1 in the first half, or none. You don't have to use any if you don't want, but you get 2 at the most. There'll be no overtime. If a game ends at a tie, it's just a tie. We're not doing any overtime period. The home team, if you would, you'll provide the scorekeeper. They're pretty easy to run those clocks. And the visiting team provide a volunteer to help with the time and maybe some books and stuff like that. On defense, this is all straight basketball. You can press, you can play zone, you can play man-to-man, you can half-court press. All that stuff. It's straight basketball until you get to 15 points ahead or more. Then we're going to call off the press. You can still play zone, still play man-to-man, whatever you want to do, but no half-court press. And what I mean by that, we don't want anybody, we don't want you setting up press right at this. What getting back means is getting back. So you're going to see red lines in the middle school gyms. I expect the defense to be behind that line, so there's no confusion. Make sure you tell your players and everybody, got to be behind this red line if you're up 15 points or more. Doesn't matter if you want to play a zone back here or any of that, but we're not going to have court press on this line when your 15 points are ahead. Free throws, we'll be shooting from the regular line. If if both teams are having trouble, that's going to be a discretion of refs. I've told them if they want to move them up just a little, but it's from the line is when we're going to shoot free throws from. You're only going to have one jump ball per game. We'll do the opening tip, and then after that it'll be possession arrow only. So when it comes to fouls, when you get a foul called on you, turn your back to the scorekeeper and raise your hand so we can keep number of fouls, because 5 fouls per player will result in fouling out. A technical foul, if one of your kiddos get a technical, it will count as a personal foul. If a technical foul gets a non-player, will result in the opposing team getting 2 shots and the ball out of bounds. So first technical, 2 shots out of bounds. If you have 2 non-player technicals, it's very important. If a coach, assistant coach, a parent get 2 technical fouls, they will be asked to leave. You will not be able to stay at the game, and they'll be suspended for the next 2 games. When an assistant coach receives 1 technical foul, they have to leave the bench. They can no longer stay there. And it's very important, only 1 coach can be standing at a time on the bench. Can't have 2 or 3 coaches standing up, yelling at refs, running up and down, 1 coach at a time on the bench. And if you get a technical, let's say assistant gets a technical, parent gets a technical, that will count against the head coach. So if the head coach gets 1 more, that's 2, he's out for 2 games, and he's out for that game. If any parents, coaches, anybody comes out on the court to argue, that's a technical foul. A second warning will also result in a legal offense or defense. Let's say we've told you 2 or 3 or 4 times, I want the refs to be patient because the kids are playing hard and being anxious. But if they continue to half court press after being 15 and up, that's an example of illegal defense. After refs' discretion, if they ask you 2 or 3 or 4 times, hey, you got to back up, they can call technical. We're going to try to stay away from that, but if it's 4 or 5 times, I mean, we need to do something about that. So as far as the head coach, we appreciate you so much for volunteering. You are responsible for your parents, for your assistant coaches and your players, sportsmanship, their behavior on the court, in the stands. So you have to help us out. Please have that talk with your parents before the season that you are responsible for that, and it could affect your team if somebody crosses the line there. Make sure also as a coach you're playing your players the minimum time at least. We want to make sure all these parents have joined, their kiddos want to play. Let's make sure they're playing their allotted time. Very important also, we talk about this in every sport and we're still having issues. All assistant coaches have to have a background check. Very simple to look up and see what the requirements to pass a background. We got to have them sign up. We can't have people running a game, sitting on the bench with kids that we have no record of as far as passing a background. We just can't have it. It could cause an issue moving forward. If the head coach is letting people coach, that's not a background, that's their responsibility, and we'll have to talk about that, and there could be some disciplinary action. Coaches, also remember the officials. It's very hard in today's world to get officials. They're doing their best. They're out there working hard for you. Please show respect, and if you have questions about rules, we're not saying you can't question a call and talk to the refs, but let's keep it, in a classy way. Let's a respectful way to our refs. They're out there working. They don't have to be there, and we can't do this without the refs. We don't want to never get to a point where we don't have refs for you guys. So please, if you have a question about rules that are not being followed, call me, and we can go over them. And I'm always going to be training my refs up. If they are confused about a rule and they didn't put it right, then we can sure talk about that, and I'll sure make sure we get it on the right page. But let's not have any incidents at the games, in the stands, after the games. Let's just keep it classy and have respect for each other. Coaches, I don't want you running on the court coaching. You can't be on the court coaching. You got to stay on the bench. Don't be running up and down the sideline. Coach hard, coach good, but let's stay off the court. All right, code of conduct, and this is for everyone. No drugs, alcohol, or any tobacco products in the gyms. No cussing, no obscene language up there. No arguing with the other parents, no arguing with the other team, coaches, arguing with each other, none of that. We do have a code of conduct. I'd hate for any of my volunteers not to be able to volunteer, or any parents not to be allowed to be in the program. Let's have fun at the games. If you have a question about something being done in a game, call me the next day, or anytime. We can talk about that, and we'll sure get it to you. We can come to some kind of resolution, and maybe it's something we can handle real easy instead of having a big incident out on the court. If you're the last game of the night, please move out of there as fast as possible. These custodians are working extra to keep these gyms open for us and to close down and to clean up. Take all your water bottles, your trash, anything in the stands, on the bench, hoodies, jerseys, anything that you have on the bench, please get it off and clean it up before you leave. Parents, don't leave cups. You're not supposed to have drinks and stuff in there, but if you have anything that you brought in there, please get out, because we can't guarantee you're going to get any of that stuff back if it was something you need, because that's not, ASD is a whole different place, so we don't know what's going to happen. So clean up for us in the elementary practices and the big gyms. Elementary practices, do not have other kids there that are just watching practice, running around, jumping on stuff. Those little gyms are the physical education teacher's classroom. Don't be pulling stuff off the wall. Watch your kids running around. Do not let them pull stuff off the walls, break stuff, hang on rims. We had a rim. An older kid was there with one of his siblings practicing. He grabbed one of the small rims and bent it down. It broke the rim. We can't be doing that to the gyms, or we won't be able to have these in the gym. So please take care of their stuff. Make sure you shut the doors. You can't leave the doors propped open. Do not leave the doors propped open when you leave for the night. The custodian will come in and lock up for you. Take all your water bottles, anything you have in there, get it out, because once again, we need to clean up there. That's their classroom. Let's show respect. Like I said, let's have a great season. Let's not have any issues out there. You can call me for anything, and let's make sure that we're just having a good time, because this winter basketball league is a fun deal. It's mostly the 3rd through 6. It's all 3rd through 6. All good, great gyms to play in. And at the end of the season, we'll have some medals for you guys. You can pick them up. We'll send out a notice that way you can pick those up. So once again, thank you for volunteering. Any question about rules, call me. Call anybody at the office. They all can help you out. Or you can get on the website and look up the rules, and it's there, and the whole rule section's there. So once again, have fun. Thank you, and have a great season.